everybody, it is Margaret and I am outside today. One, because the weather is tolerable. Two, because my house is kind of torn up right now. So you know my yarn closet? And I usually have all kinds of storage bins and all that are there blocking that little door. They are all out. We are having, we found out that the plumbing is not right, so we're having some pipes ripped out so that they're situated at the proper angle. And don't ask how we found this out. It was a very unpleasant experience at like 3:30 in the morning the other night. But anyway, this has been a week of hats for me. I told you last week that Karen of SSK Yarners was collecting hats, and you know, I have really been, my hair, I got a really weird haircut last time. She cut it so that it would, you know, hang like this, but this drives me crazy. You see how it's going down like that? And I hate having hair in my face, so I'm constantly pulling it back, and then it just doesn't. I donated already a great big bag right before we moved to my favorite charity at home back in Mississippi, but I don't have a favorite charity here yet. And so Karen, who, you know, I've met before, has a charity that's very close to her heart, and she asked for hats. Well, you know, hats are my favorite thing to make. So I've been going crazy trying to make some of those so that I can help her with this quest for her favorite charity, which is a veterans charity. And I gave you a link last week. I'll provide that same link for you because I think she has a date of sometime in October, if I'm not correct. All the information is in that link, and she's still collecting hats, so if you'd like to participate in there, she would appreciate it. Alright, so I've been doing basic hats, especially that will appeal to men or boys, because everybody loves to do girl hats, right? And not everybody likes to do men and boy hats, so that's oftentimes what I tend to gravitate towards. And I've told the story before. I've had 2 boys and 1 girl, and you walk into the girls section and you have tons of clothes of every design and all these wonderful things, and you walk into the boy section and you have this much clothes. So I've always been a little bit partial to try to make sure boys have lots of choices. But anyhow, this is a basic hat. This is that chain tracks hat, if you can see the tracks in there. And again, it's using up scraps, which I think is also economical and wise. All acrylic, because you can throw them in the washer and dryer. Now this is a basic gray hat, and I do have some furry looking palms that I'm considering putting on here, in which case it would probably no longer appeal to men or boys. But with basic gray, you can put any kind of loud color with it, and it would be really, you know, kind of fun. So we'll try that later. I didn't bring any out here to test them and see what we thought. And then, oh no, here's another scrap hat. And what I did with this, it's a crochet. And what I did with this is basic half double crochet here, and then camel stitch to make those horizontal lines like that. Again with scraps. Now, what this is 2 different colors of Bernat Baby. Now, one is a variegated yarn, and of course I didn't bring them out here, but let me tell you what, my basement is where all my yarn stuff is, and I am up here on the main floor, and I'm not going back down there. And amidst all that, it smells like pipe fitting glue stuff and all that. I just don't want to go down there, so I'm sorry, I'm not ready for you, but this is the best I can offer you today. What this is a pale turquoise with that variegated that has the pale turquoise in it. So I held 2 strands together. It's Baby Sport, so I ended up getting a bulky hat out of this. I didn't actually use a pattern. There are patterns out there, and I know for a fact that Zoe 24 Karat Crochet has done something like this. So I'll look to see if I can find her pattern. It's very simple because basically it's front post, back post. Is it? Or is it front post regular? Yeah, front post regular stitch. And the tricky part is just the increases at the top when you're starting out. But here's an even easier one to do along those same lines. Now this was a sport weight yarn and a sock yarn to get the subtle color changes that you see in there. And this was a real simple way to do your increases in the top, and you just get this fanned out. You get a wider type of division between the ridges. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Now you remember last week when I was going through all my old stuff and I was getting so inspired by what I had already done in the past. I really liked it in the past, so I figured, why wouldn't I like it now? So I did Zoe, again, 24 karat crochet. This is her spiral hat pattern. And it's so easy because you don't join back here, you just continue, so you don't have any seams. And then you have this front post, back post ribbing, and I just love it. I think it's a great practical hat, and then you get that added warmth, you know, right here for the ears. So not only does it look good, but it's very practical too. And then another one of my favorites, let's borrow Mrs. Whitehead's cousin. See how skinny, these are skinny headed things. If you ever saw any of my old videos, I bought a whole bunch of them, and I actually did make some larger versions of these. I enlarged their heads. I didn't know what I was doing. But this is that camel stitch slouchy, that crochet camel stitch slouchy, and that's not right. I put the seam where you could see it. I'm famous for doing that. It's almost every time I show you a hat, I show you the back or where the seam is. Okay, so my nose is itching. There's something in this air here that's got my allergies going. But this is very adventuresome for me because I chose two colors that I would not normally have put together. And I looked at them and I thought, man, I see fall written all over that color combo. So I did that. And I really do like this pattern. It's fun to do, and the texture that this camel stitch gives you is kind of squishy and fun, so I really like that. And then again, in my past patterns, I did several of these super bulky scrap hats. Let me find the back. Here's the back. Okay, now this is 4 strands of worsted held together. All I did was pick colors that I thought would look good together, and they did. I like this. Very simple hat, and the problem with using an inexpensive acrylic plus 4 strands of it is it becomes very stiff. I mean, you know, like stiff. But I wanted to show you what a difference washing makes. Now when I wash it, I just throw it in my washer, throw it in my dryer, and treat it just like clothes. And here is an example of one that has been washed. You can see the little fuzzies that come out like that, which, you know, sometimes finer yarns have that halo effect to them, which is kind of neat. I love this pastel color combo. I think that's so beautiful. Of course, I think Easter when I look at it, but look how much softer we're talking. Like I can still hold it in a bowl, but well, you can see that it's a lot squishier. It's very hard to describe texture on a video. You know, I wish you could just reach your hand right through there and feel it. But it's considerably softer, and it doesn't have this bowl effect that this one does. See if I hold it, see the difference? Like if I'm holding it like this and go like this, it won't hold its shape. So you can see that it does make a considerable difference. Yeah. Now I know I did more of these hats these bulky hats using some scraps. Actually, I did open some new skeins for that because I was just having such a good time with it. Again, a very warm hat, but I don't know what I did with them. So there must be in that mess downstairs somewhere. Now, if you noticed, all of that was crochet. Every bit of it. I have been in a crochet mood for some strange reason, and now I am moving back towards knitting. And this is what I first knit when I picked the needles back up. Now, again, looking back at my blog, at my past projects and things that I once really liked, there's a reason. I honestly am drawn to them. This was from the Knit Baby Hat Scrapbusters, I think is the name of that post. And what I give you in that post is actually a little formula that I use for charity hats. So I cast on, I think it was 92, I don't know, I always have to look whenever I get ready to do charity hats. How many do I cast on for this size? And then I went a little farther to make it have some slouch to it. Now, all of these charity hats don't have complicated decreases. They have very, what I refer to as quickie decreases. It's only like 3 rows of decreases. And true knitters are probably like, oh, Margaret, don't do that. That doesn't look good. You know, it makes that gather up at the top. But our Addy hats, when we do the Addy machine, you gather them at the top. And I've never thought that that was bad looking. As a matter of fact, I like it a lot. I have a fuzz on here, hang on. I like it a lot when you put a pom-pom on the end of it. So let me hold this in place and see if you get the idea. Can you see how it looks like it's all drawn up to meet the pom? So I am going to put this pom on here because I just think it looks good, and I'm going to do that. But I wanted to leave it off so you could see what I was talking about right here. Now, another interesting thing was this yarn. I really, really like this yarn, and sadly, it's discontinued. This is that Martha Stewart Crafts by Lion brand, and every skein that I have I bought on a clearance, so I knew that something was going on. So out of curiosity, I looked into the situation. So this Martha Stewart yarn that I like so much is a product of Lion brand. They're the ones that are producing it, and since I always bought it on sale or on clearance, actually, I was wondering if they were even still making it. And alas, they are not. This item has been discontinued, you see. So then, just out of curiosity, I was wondering if you could buy it someplace else. You know, they're clearing it out. So I checked I checked Amazon just to see. And oh look, you can buy the pink for the great price of $22.95 a skein. So I wondered about other, this is the color that I used on that hat. It's called Winter Sky. Oh, it's only $13.98. So people have definitely caught on that you can't get it anymore. $14.99 for that color. Price gouging. I think one of the things that I like the best about this yarn is the wool combo. It's 30% wool, 70 acrylic. It still means it's machine washable. It's, you know, so it's easy care, but it just feels so good. It's a good quality to it, and I'm convinced it's the wool in there. So people who are sensitive to wool, meaning you have an allergic reaction to it, then this probably would not be for you. Those who don't like wool because they find it scratchy, you won't find this scratchy. The combos are very soft, so you know, you can keep that in mind. Now the thing about this yarn though is that it frays. It unravels very easily. So my tail, you know, that was hanging off my cast on end, I would put a little knot in the bottom of it so that it wouldn't, it was fraying all the way up, so I had to stop it. And then when I added my colors to each end, I would put a knot to keep it from fraying. So when it came time to do the pom-pom, I got to thinking, do I really want to do the pom-pom out of that yarn? And 2 reasons told me no. One, because I didn't know what it was going to look like with all those frays. although I think it probably could look really, really good once it frayed like that. It'd be really full, fuzzy looking style to it, I guess. And two, because I can't get any more of that stuff, I don't want to waste it on a pom-pom. This is from an inexpensive, I think I paid $1 a skein from Big Lots years ago. And this is really pretty. It has a sheen to it, but very much like a Caron Simply Soft, but thinner. You want to come be in my video? I want to recommend this book. It's called Knitting Yarns, Writers on Knitting, but it's talking about crochet as well. It's a bunch of authors who are either knitters or crocheters or really want to be, and they've had a particular experience about it. And it's just a collection of short stories, and I am enjoying it so much. I'm almost through with it, but I'm listening to it on audiobook so that I can move around and do chores or even crochet or knit with it. But I thought some other people might enjoy it as well. Now, also in my last video, I said I don't need any more yarn and I'm not going to buy any more yarn. Well, I drank the Kool-Aid and I got me some Caron cakes. Everybody was after the Caron cakes. And this was the one that I chose. What's it called? Blueberry Cheesecake. And all it is a bunch of different variations on blue. But I chose that, and I got 2 skeins of that because I really did not know about the projects that you would choose to make with this stuff. Was it going to take just one cake, or was I going to need more than one cake, or whatever? So I got 2 just to be on the safe side. And again, it is that acrylic and wool blend, so it just feels so good. I just love it. So, and I've heard a lot of people say that this is getting harder and harder to find, and it isn't on their website. But my Michaels had a pretty good selection. Just a few of the colors were sold out, but I couldn't stand it. I had to get it. So I'm in Michaels, and I found the Caron cakes right here. But I also found this. Look over here. It seems to be new. This is Loops and Threads. Let me switch. It's called Facets, which I thought was very clever, as they do seem to cover all facets of the color spectrum. The care instructions say hand wash, dry flat, but yet it's 100% acrylic, so that gives me permission to machine wash and dry. However, if you're the more conservative type, ignore me, or at least wait until I test it for you. Moving on to the back of the label, we see it's number 5 bulky weight, but I ask you, why don't the recommended knitting needle size and crochet hook size match? Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Not that it matters to me anyway, because I almost always go down a size or 2 anyway, but it still perplexes me. Now I'm coming to realize that I must have a rather loose gauge in both knitting and crochet. So an 8mm suggested crochet hook is what I'd use only if I wanted a very, very loose gauge to make it very drapey, which is probably wise for a scarf of bulky yarn, or one may feel a bit restrained, like that little brother in the Christmas Story movie. Makes up like that. Isn't that pretty? There's all kinds of different colors. Really like them. Not that I need any more yarn, but there you go. Now I didn't buy any of that Facets yarn, and I'm kind of kicking myself now, but I think it was because I'm so cheap and none of it was on sale. So I got one 40% off coupon because that was the week where I happened to. I think the next week you could have gotten 20% off your entire purchase, but I didn't go back. But anyhow, I didn't get any of that Facets, but I will be because I really, really like that stuff. But what I did find were these. Look, they're pins or badges of emojis, and I thought, wouldn't that be cute to put on a hat? Because even if they wear the hat out, or if they just flat didn't want it, you could have this pen for another purpose. So I thought that would be really cute. So I'm going to, the colors in these, if you'll look at those, is you've got hot pink, red, and a turquoise. You've got some pale pink, I think, yeah, on the blushes, white and black. So I think I'm going to make some hats specifically for these guys. And these were 9 pieces for $4, $3.99. Or, of course, don't forget our Canadian friends, $5.99. And one more thing before I start sweating to death. It was really cool when I first sat down, and now the sun is coming out all around me and I'm getting hot and sweaty. But anyway, to make a long story short, I forgot to tell you this very main important thing, and that is the Facebook group. I have switched it. I made the huge mistake of setting up a Facebook page and not a group, and therefore all your posts were going off in this little side thing, and everybody could see them, but you had to do the extra step of going to the little side thing, and then all of my stuff was down on the wall. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to feature you instead of me. And so I tried to tough it out, thinking, oh gosh, it's going to be too much trouble to switch over. No, it really wasn't that big of a deal. I put a link on the original page, sending everybody to this new page, and it's so much better. We've already gotten some great projects that people are sharing with us, and it's so fun to see what y'all are doing. Some others have asked for advice, reference, whatever, and that's terrific. And then don't forget, we have the Ravelry group over there. Sarah, who is Crunchiest One on Ravelry, has been moderating that group and keeping that alive over there. So there, and then of course I answer all my comments on my YouTube videos. So there's plenty of ways that we can stay in touch. Just want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to do that. And I do have an Instagram, though I have been very lax on Instagram lately for some reason. Actually, I've been lax on most all social media lately. I don't know why, but yeah, anyway, I have a life too, I guess. I was fortunate enough last weekend to have all 3 of my kids home, and that's great because we haven't all 5 been together since Christmas, so that's good. I've got Tyler, my oldest, from California. I got him 1 more week, and then he's got to go back. But, oh yeah, and then we have this trauma going on with the house, which is not fun. So, as a matter of fact, we can't turn the water on for several hours, so hope we don't have an emergency. Oh, I have something else on the needles, and what I am making is a little toddler pumpkin hat, or a baby pumpkin hat. So, and it's on the needles, not on a loom or on the Addy or anything. So I'll let you know how that turns out, because I'm sort of following the instructions and sort of not. So I'll let you see how that turns out. But I guess that's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.